Luka Doncic has only been in Los Angeles for 2 months, and yet, he's already making headlines, breaking records, and reminding the entire NBA why he's one of the most gifted players of his generation. When the Lakers pulled off the shocking trade that brought Doncic to the purple and gold, fans were stunned. No one expected Dallas to let go of their franchise player, especially not mid-season, and especially not to a historic rival like the Lakers. But that's exactly what happened, and since then, Luka has been nothing short of spectacular. Let's rewind a bit. Back in December, Doncic suffered a left calf strain during a high-profile Christmas Day matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The injury forced him to miss several weeks of action, and while he was still recovering, the Mavericks, in a move that shocked fans and analysts alike, decided to hit the reset button. They traded Luka to the Lakers in one of the most surprising deals we've seen in years. Now, fast forward to today, and the Lakers couldn't be happier with that decision. In just 25 games as a Laker, Luka Doncic has already written his name into the team's record books. And his latest feat? Historic. Following a dominant win over the Oklahoma City Thunder, Doncic became the first Lakers guard in over a decade, since the legendary Kobe Bryant in 2013, to record the most 30-point games in a single season. Think about that for a moment. We're talking about a franchise that has seen some of the greatest scorers in NBA history. And now, Luka's name is right there with Kobe's. In Sunday's game, Luka put on a show. He dropped 30 points on an efficient 11 of 20 shooting, pulled down 7 rebounds, handed out 6 assists, and added 2 steals, all in 37 minutes. It was vintage Luka, in a new jersey, doing what he does best, taking over games and making it look effortless. But here's the crazy part. This isn't even his first record as a Laker. Back in March, Luka set a new franchise record for the most three-pointers made in a single month. He's been lighting it up from deep, showing that his scoring isn't limited to the paint or mid-range. He's stretching defenses, creating space, and making defenders pay from anywhere on the court. Since joining the Lakers, Doncic has scored 30 or more points in 13 of his 25 games. That means in more than half of his appearances, he's reaching that elite scoring threshold. And he's only been held under 20 points 5 times. That level of consistency, especially after coming off an injury and adjusting to a new team, is incredible. Let's take a look at his averages during his time in LA. Luka is putting up 27.3 points per game, 7.7 assists, 8.3 rebounds, and 1.6 steals. He's shooting 42.1% from the field and 35.8% from three-point range, all while logging just over 35 minutes per night. These are superstar numbers, and he's just getting started. At only 26 years old, Doncic is entering his prime, and now, he's doing it on one of the biggest stages in sports. The Lakers didn't just acquire a talented player, they brought in a generational talent who's already being talked about as the future face of the franchise. And make no mistake, the expectations are sky high. This is Los Angeles. It's Hollywood. It's championship banners, bright lights, and the weight of legacy. Every player who wears this jersey steps into the shadow of legends. Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and most recently, LeBron James. But Luka doesn't seem fazed. In fact, he looks like he belongs. He's embraced the pressure, the spotlight, the expectations, and he's thriving in it. Whether it's making clutch shots, orchestrating the offense, or firing up the crowd at Crypto.com Arena, Doncic has fully bought into being a Laker. And now, with the playoffs just around the corner, all eyes are on him. The Lakers are looking to make a deep run, and they'll need Luka at his absolute best. The chemistry with his new teammates is improving each game, and the team's momentum is building. If he can stay healthy, and if the supporting cast steps up, the Lakers could be one of the most dangerous teams in the postseason. Let's not forget, this team still has veteran leadership, championship DNA, and now, a young superstar ready to carry the torch. Luka Doncic was already a superstar in Dallas. But in LA, he has the chance to become a legend. And based on what we've seen so far, he's well on his way. So buckle up, Lakers fans. The Luka era is here. And if the last 2 months are any indication, it's going to be something special. We've officially entered the final stretch of the NBA regular season. The countdown has begun, and every second, every possession, every decision on the floor could alter the fate of an entire franchise. For the Los Angeles Lakers, the stakes couldn't be higher. Right now, The Lakers are neck and neck in one of the most competitive Western Conference races in recent memory. This isn't just about making the playoffs anymore. This is about survival, pride, momentum, and legacy. The difference between securing a top 6 seed and falling into the dreaded play-in tournament is razor thin. And with only 4 games left on the schedule, the pressure has hit an all-time high. The journey to the postseason won't be easy. Far from it. The Lakers will first travel to Oklahoma City to face the Thunder, a young and hungry team that's already clinched a playoff spot but is still fighting tooth and nail for the number 1 seed. They're not resting, they're raging. And they'll be looking to send a message. A loss in OKC would be a major blow to the Lakers' playoff hopes. Then, it's off to Dallas for one of the most emotionally charged games of the season. Luca Doncic returns to the city where he became a superstar. The Mavericks will look to spoil his homecoming, and with both teams desperate for a win, it could be one of the most intense matchups of the season. Expect fireworks. Expect tension. Expect greatness. The Lakers then return to Los Angeles for their final home game at Crypto.com Arena, where they'll host the Houston Rockets, another playoff-bound squad that's not taking any nights off. Houston's young core has been red-hot lately, and they've already clinched their spot in the postseason. They're dangerous, unpredictable, and playing with nothing to lose. The Lakers will need every ounce of energy from their home crowd to pull out a win. Finally, the Lakers will close out the regular season in Portland against the Trail Blazers. While Portland has already been eliminated from playoff contention, they would love nothing more than to play spoiler and crush the Lakers' postseason dreams. These are the types of games where strange things happen. Underdogs rise. Favorites fall. And the unexpected becomes reality. If the Lakers win all 4 of these games, they could potentially climb all the way to the 3rd seed, gaining home court advantage and a favorable playoff matchup. But a single misstep, one bad quarter, one off night, could send them tumbling into the play-in tournament. And in a single elimination format, no one is safe. The Western Conference standings are a war zone. Every team from 3rd to 10th is separated by just a few games. There's no breathing room. The Thunder and Rockets are locked in, but everyone else, the Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, Warriors, Mavericks, Kings, Suns, and Timberwolves, is fighting tooth and nail for position. Every win is gold. Every loss, a potential knockout. If the regular season ended today, the first round of the playoffs would feature absolute blockbusters. The play-in tournament alone would be must-watch basketball, the Timberwolves versus the Grizzlies, the Kings versus the Mavericks. Win or go home. No second chances. And waiting just beyond that chaos, a potential first-round battle between the Lakers and their longtime rivals, the Golden State Warriors. Just imagine it. LeBron James versus Stephen Curry. Luca Doncic squaring off with Klay Thompson. 2 of the league's most iconic franchises clashing under the brightest lights. It would be a Hollywood script, written perfectly for the postseason stage. But none of that is guaranteed. The Lakers are in control of their destiny, for now. They've been building toward this moment all season long. The addition of Luca Doncic was one of the most electrifying trades in recent memory. He's brought scoring, leadership, vision, and poise. He's averaging over 27 points, delivering in clutch moments, and proving every night that he's built for the bright lights of Los Angeles. And alongside him, the king himself, LeBron James, still dominant, still defying time, still chasing one more ring. Together, they've shown flashes of brilliance. But now it's time to prove they can turn that into a full-blown playoff run. This stretch will define them. It's not just about basketball, it's about belief. About unity. About rising when everything is on the line. The Lakers were built to win now. The pieces are there. The talent is undeniable. But talent alone won't be enough. Now, it's about heart. It's about fight. It's about finishing strong when everything is on the line. The fans know it. The city feels it. And the team, they're locked in, dialed in, focused on the mission ahead. So what's next for the Lakers? Who will they face? Where will they land in the standings? Will they rise, or will they fall? We're just days away from finding out. But one thing is for sure, the battle has already begun. The war for the West is in full swing. And the Lakers, they're not backing down. Not now. Not ever. Because in Los Angeles, It's not just about making the playoffs. It's about winning championships. The Los Angeles Lakers have been making serious moves lately, and their recent victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder reignited the hope of a deep playoff run. But even with this boost in momentum, there's still a clear sense that the roster isn't complete. The win doesn't erase the inconsistency the team has faced throughout the season. And with championship ambitions still burning bright, the front office could be eyeing another major addition. The trade that brought Luca Doncic to the Lakers was a game-changer. It gave the team a generational scorer and playmaker, someone who can carry the offense when needed and create opportunities for others. But every move has its trade-offs. With Doncic now in the purple and gold, the Lakers lost some depth in their interior game. Defensively, they've been lacking a dominant presence in the paint, and offensively, they could use a big man who can stretch the floor and still protect the rim. This is where Kristaps Porzingis comes into the conversation. Standing at 7'2", Porzingis is one of the most unique players in the league. When healthy, he's a nightmare matchup, a big man who can shoot from deep, block shots, and run the floor. This season, he's been putting up solid numbers, averaging nearly 20 points, close to 7 rebounds, and around 1.6 blocks per game. His shooting from beyond the arc is especially valuable, allowing him to space the floor and open up lanes for players like Doncic and LeBron James to attack. He's not just a shooter, though. Porzingis is a legitimate rim protector, someone who can anchor the defense in the paint and change shots around the basket. He's also a reliable option in pick-and-roll and pick-and-pop situations, giving the Lakers another dimension on offense. Imagine him setting screens for Luca or LeBron. It would be a nightmare for opposing defenses. But making this move would take some serious maneuvering behind the scenes. Porzingis is under contract with a salary close to $30 million next season. To make the numbers work, the Lakers would likely need to engage a third team in the deal. That team could take on some of the salary burden while the Lakers offer up future draft picks and expiring contracts. It's not impossible, especially for a franchise like the Lakers, who've never been afraid to swing big, but it would require careful planning. Another piece of the puzzle is Boston. Would they even consider letting Porzingis go? The Celtics have been one of the top teams in the East, and moving a player like him would suggest they're making major adjustments. Some reports suggest that Boston could be open to reworking parts of their roster, particularly due to some injury concerns. If the right offer comes along, they might be willing to listen. One interesting factor is the past relationship between Doncic and Porzingis. The two played together in Dallas, but their partnership never quite reached its full potential. Since then, both have matured, and Porzingis himself has acknowledged that better communication and more patience could have made things different. A reunion in Los Angeles might just be the opportunity for them to prove what they could have been, this time, with LeBron in the mix as well. Of course, the biggest question remains health. Porzingis has struggled with injuries throughout his career. The Lakers would need to be confident that he can stay on the floor during the most important stretch of the season. If he can, the upside is enormous. He could be the missing piece that elevates this roster from playoff hopefuls to true title contenders. In terms of fit, it's hard to imagine a better frontcourt trio than LeBron, Luca, and Kristaps. All three can shoot, all three can pass, and all three can dominate their matchups in different ways. Porzingis wouldn't need to carry the load. He'd simply need to stay healthy, play his role, and bring his unique skill set to a team that's already loaded with talent. This kind of move wouldn't just shake up the Lakers, it would send shockwaves across the entire NBA. Opposing teams would have to game plan for a lineup that can stretch the floor, punish switches, and protect the rim. The Lakers, meanwhile, would have one of the most dangerous and versatile trios in basketball. The clock is ticking, and as the offseason approaches, expect the Lakers to stay aggressive. They've never been content with just making the playoffs. It's championship or bust in Los Angeles. And if Porzingis is truly available, don't be surprised if the Lakers are the first team in line. After all, this franchise has always been about stars. And Kristaps Porzingis, when he's right, shines just as bright as any of them.